Welcome to Numismatic Vault, the channel where coins aren't just spare change, they're hidden treasures waiting to be found. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable 5-cent coins. Some of these coins are worth far more than you'd ever imagine, and the best part, they could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now. So get ready, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change in a whole new way. Top 1 today, we are focusing on a piece of American coinage that many of us have handled countless times without giving it a second thought, the Jefferson Nickel from the year 2000. At first glance, this small 5-cent piece seems ordinary, but as every true collector knows, sometimes the most extraordinary stories are hidden in the coins we think of as common. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the 2000 Jefferson Nickel has captured the attention of collectors and how certain examples of this coin have shocked the numismatic community with their value. The Jefferson Nickel has a long history, first introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, it featured the portrait of America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, and the famous Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. For more than 6 decades, this design remained essentially unchanged, making the year 2000 one of the final years before a dramatic redesign began in 2004. That historical transition gives the 2000 Jefferson Nickel an added sense of importance, marking the end of an era in American coinage. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, Jefferson faces left, with the word Liberty written in his elegant script and the motto "In God We Trust" nearby. Beneath his portrait sits the date, 2000, and to the side, you'll find the mint mark, D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. The reverse displays the stately Monticello, with the Latin phrase E pluribus unum above and the denomination and country name below. While this design may feel familiar to collectors, it's exactly this familiarity that makes rare varieties stand out so dramatically. So what makes a coin like the 2000 Jefferson Nickel special? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and minting errors. Most of these nickels were struck in huge numbers and circulated heavily, making them common in pocket change. But within this massive production, a handful of coins show mistakes that slipped through the minting process, and it's these mistakes that transform an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream. One of the most desirable errors on the 2000 Jefferson Nickel is the double die variety. In these coins, the details of Jefferson's profile, the word Liberty, or even parts of Monticello appear doubled under magnification. This doubling is the result of die misalignment during production, and sharp examples are highly sought after. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike, where the design is shifted noticeably to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Depending on how far off-center the strike is, these coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Then there are broad strike errors, where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, causing the nickel to spread wider than normal. Such coins often appear stretched or oddly shaped, instantly grabbing a collector's attention. Even rarer are nickels struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a Jefferson Nickel design accidentally stamped on a dime or even a foreign coin blank. These pieces are considered true oddities and can bring astonishing results at auction. Condition is another critical factor. Most 2000 nickels have seen years of circulation, collecting scratches, wear, and tarnish. But coins that were carefully saved or graded by professional services in high mint state condition are rare treasures. Mint state 67 or higher is extremely difficult to find, and full steps nickels, those showing every step clearly on Monticello's staircase, are even rarer and command significant premiums. Proof nickels, struck at the San Francisco Mint with mirror-like finishes, add another dimension to the story. When found in pristine deep cameo condition, they are breathtaking examples of craftsmanship and very desirable for advanced collections. Collectors love the 2000 Jefferson Nickel because it represents more than just a denomination. It stands at the crossroads between tradition and change, bridging the long history of the original Schlag design and the exciting redesigns of the Westward Journey nickels that would follow a few years later. For numismatists, it's a reminder of how even a simple 5-cent piece can hold secrets, surprises, and untold value. Now, here comes the part that will truly astonish you. While most Jefferson Nickels from the year 2000 are worth only their face value, certain examples, those with dramatic minting errors, flawless preservation, or extraordinary qualities, have reached jaw-dropping amounts in the collector's market. In fact, one rare Jefferson nickel from the year 2000 has been valued at an incredible $81,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $81,000 for a coin most people would overlook as just 5 cents. So the next time you see a Jefferson nickel dated 2000 in your change or tucked away in a drawer, take a careful look. You may just be holding a piece of history and a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Top 2. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of one of America's most overlooked yet surprisingly valuable coins, the Jefferson nickel from the year 2001. At first glance, this small 5-cent coin looks just like the millions of others you've probably seen in your change. But here's the truth, certain examples of this nickel can carry secrets worth a fortune, and if you stick with me until the end, you'll discover why collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts for one of these little coins. The Jefferson nickel has been an iconic part of American pocket change since 1938. Its design was created by artist Felix Schlag, whose vision placed the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous Monticello home on the reverse. By the time we reached the year 2001, this design had already been in circulation for more than 6 decades. But this was also a transitional time, as just a few years later the U.S. Mint would roll out the Westward Journey series, honoring the Lewis and Clark expedition with new nickel designs. That makes the 2001 issue one of the last years of the classic Schlag design before history took a new turn. Let's take a closer look at the coin itself. On the obverse side, Jefferson faces left, his timeless portrait accompanied by the word liberty in his distinctive script, and the national motto "In God We Trust." Beneath the portrait sits the date, 2001, alongside a mint mark that could be either P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. Flip the coin, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's stately Virginia estate, framed by the Latin phrase E pluribus unum above and the words United States of America and 5 cents below. Simple, familiar, and elegant, this design is deeply ingrained in American coinage history. So what transforms an ordinary 2001 nickel into a rare and valuable treasure? The answer lies in minting errors and condition. While the U.S. Mint produces coins with incredible precision, the sheer volume of nickels struck each year leaves room for mistakes, and those mistakes can be worth big money. One highly collectible error on the 2001 Jefferson nickel is the double die variety. On these coins, Jefferson's profile, the date, or even parts of Monticello may appear slightly doubled, giving the coin a ghost-like quality under magnification. Another standout error is the off-center strike, where the design shifts to one side, leaving part of the planchet blank. These off-center coins are especially desirable if the date remains visible, since it confirms the year of minting. Then there are broad strikes, where the collar that holds the coin in place fails, allowing the nickel to spread out wider than usual. These coins look unusual and are instantly recognizable as mint errors. Wrong planchet errors are even more dramatic. A Jefferson nickel struck on a dime blank, for example, creates a coin that is both strange and extremely rare. Collectors go wild for these oddities because each one is essentially a one-of-a-kind piece. Condition also plays a huge role in determining value. Most 2001 nickels circulated heavily, gathering scratches, nicks, and wear from years of use. But nickels that were preserved straight from the mint, especially those graded mint state 67 or higher, are incredibly scarce. Full steps examples, where every step of Monticello is clearly defined, are among the most prized. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint add another dimension, with their mirror-like fields and frosted devices. When found in perfect deep cameo condition, these proofs stand out as miniature works of art. Beyond rarity and condition, collectors also value the 2001 Jefferson nickel because of its place in history. It symbolizes the final chapter of an era, just before the dramatic changes to the nickel's design began. For numismatists, it is a reminder that even the most ordinary coin can mark a turning point in the story of American money. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most 2001 Jefferson nickels will never be worth more than face value, certain extraordinary examples, those with flawless preservation, rare error varieties, or outstanding eye appeal, have astonished the collecting world. Believe it or not, One such Jefferson nickel from the year 2001 has reached a value of an incredible $79,000, yes, $79,000 for a 5-cent coin that many people would overlook. This is why collectors are so passionate, always searching, always studying, always hoping to uncover that hidden gem. And who knows? The next time you check your change, you might be the one holding a small piece of history worth a life-changing amount. Top 3. We're focusing on a piece of American pocket change that may look ordinary but can hold extraordinary surprises, the Jefferson Nickel from the year 2003. This 5-cent coin, which many people still overlook, has unique stories to tell, and in certain rare conditions it can be worth far more than you ever imagined. By the end of this video, you'll see why collectors keep such a close eye on this particular nickel. The Jefferson Nickel has been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, its familiar look features Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. By 2003, this design had already been in circulation for over 60 years. But what makes the 2003 issue special is that it was one of the very last years before the U.S. Mint dramatically changed the design with the Westward Journey series in 2004. That historical timing makes the 2003 nickel a closing chapter of the classic Schlag era and a significant piece for collectors who value transitional moments in American coin history. Taking a closer look at the design, on the obverse side we see Jefferson facing left, with the word liberty in his unique script and the phrase "In God We Trust" alongside. Below sits the date 2003, paired with either AP for Philadelphia or AD for Denver, depending on where the coin was minted. On the reverse, Monticello is displayed in all its neoclassical glory, framed by the Latin motto E pluribus unum above and the words United States of America and 5 cents below. While the design seems simple and familiar, it is within these ordinary details that extraordinary rarities sometimes emerge. So why is the 2003 Jefferson Nickel worth paying close attention to? The answer is rarity and minting errors. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins for circulation, and most are only worth face value. But among those millions, some coins came out with flaws, mistakes, or unusual qualities that escaped detection. These so-called error coins are what turn an everyday nickel into a valuable treasure point. One of the most collectible errors for the 2003 Jefferson Nickel is the double die variety. In these coins, certain design elements, such as Jefferson's profile, the date, or the inscriptions, appear doubled under magnification. This creates a striking visual effect and adds significant value for collectors. Another prized error is the off-center strike, where the design shifts to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains fully visible. There are also broad strike errors, caused when the coin's collar fails to hold the planchet during minting, producing a nickel that spreads wider than normal. These coins often look warped or unusually shaped, instantly marking them as something out of the ordinary. Wrong planchet errors are even more dramatic. A Jefferson nickel struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank is an incredible rarity and always attracts serious attention from collectors. Condition also plays a critical role. Most nickels from 2003 entered circulation immediately and picked up scratches, wear, and marks. But coins that were preserved in pristine mint state are very hard to find today. Graded examples in mint state 67 or higher are rare and command impressive premiums. Even more valuable are full Steps Nickels, where every step on Monticello is clearly visible, showing that the coin was struck with exceptional sharpness. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint also add a layer of interest, with their mirror-like fields and frosted details making them miniature works of art when preserved in perfect deep cameo condition. What makes the 2003 Jefferson Nickel especially appealing is its place in history. It represents the end of a long-standing tradition, standing right before the changes of the Westward Journey series. For collectors, this makes the coin both a nostalgic reminder of America's numismatic past and an important marker of transition in U.S. coinage. And now for the part you've been waiting for. While most Jefferson Nickels from 2003 are worth just 5 cents, rare examples with dramatic errors or flawless preservation have shocked collectors by selling for extraordinary amounts. In fact, one remarkable Jefferson Nickel from 2003 reached a value of an astonishing $77,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $77,000 for a coin you might easily dismiss as ordinary change. This is the thrill of coin collecting. Hidden treasures can be hiding in plain sight, and it takes a keen eye, patience, and passion to uncover them. Top 4. We're going to dive into the fascinating story of a coin that many of us might have overlooked in our pocket change, the Jefferson Nickel from the year 2007. While it may look like just another 5-cent piece, this coin actually carries a unique place in American numismatic history, and in some rare cases, it can be worth an astonishing amount of money. If you stick around until the end, you'll find out exactly why certain 2007 Jefferson Nickels are so desirable and just how valuable they can be. The Jefferson Nickel has been around since 1938, when it replaced the famous Buffalo nickel. For decades, the design stayed the same: Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his historic Monticello home on the reverse. But starting in 2004, the U.S. Mint introduced the Westward Journey Nickels, featuring new reverse designs that celebrated the Lewis and Clark expedition. By 2006, a redesigned portrait of Jefferson also appeared on the obverse, giving the nickel a more modern look. That means the 2007 Jefferson Nickel was among the first full years to feature this updated design, making it a notable issue in the timeline of American coinage. On the obverse of the 2007 nickel, Jefferson faces forward, gazing directly at the viewer, a departure from the traditional left-facing portrait. The word liberty, based on Jefferson's own handwriting, flows elegantly across the design, along with the national motto "In God We Trust." The date, 2007, sits clearly on the coin, next to the mint mark P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. On the reverse, the mint brought back the image of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, but with a sharper and more refined style compared to earlier decades. This return to Monticello symbolized both a nod to tradition and a continuation of Jefferson's legacy on American coinage. Now let's talk about what makes the 2007 Jefferson Nickel stand out to collectors. The first factor is condition. Most nickels circulate heavily, collecting scratches, nicks, and tarnish. Finding a 2007 Jefferson Nickel in pristine condition, graded mint state 67 or higher, is rare and highly desirable. Even more elusive are coins with what collectors call full steps. These are nickels where the steps on Monticello are fully struck, showing every detail without weakness. Because striking quality varies, full steps coins are much harder to come by and therefore bring strong premiums in the collector market, but condition is only part of the story. What really makes certain 2007 Jefferson Nickels extraordinary are minting errors. For example, some coins were struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing and part of the blank planchet exposed. Others show double die errors, where elements of Jefferson's portrait or the inscriptions appear doubled, creating a dramatic effect under magnification. Broad strike errors, where the coin spreads out larger than normal because the collar failed during striking, are another fascinating variety. And then there are the rare wrong planchet errors, where a nickel design is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime or even a foreign coin. Mistakes like these are one-of-a-kind finds that collectors dream of. Proof versions of the 2007 Jefferson Nickel, struck at the San Francisco Mint, also add to the excitement. With their mirror-like backgrounds and frosted designs, proof coins are made for collectors, not circulation. When found in flawless deep cameo condition, they are truly breathtaking. These proof nickels don't usually enter everyday change, but if they do, spotting one is like finding treasure. What makes the 2007 nickel especially appealing is its place in history. It represents a modern chapter in the Jefferson Nickel story, one that blends innovation with tradition. Collectors love transitional designs, and the 2007 issue reflects both the return of Monticello and the new, forward-facing portrait of Jefferson. That dual symbolism gives the coin a special place in U.S. numismatics. Now here comes the part you've been waiting for. While most 2007 Jefferson Nickels are only worth face value, certain examples, those with exceptional errors, flawless full steps details, or stunning proof finishes, can reach values that are hard to believe. In fact, one extraordinary 2007 Jefferson Nickel has been valued at an impressive $75,000, yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a 5-cent coin. That's the magic of coin collecting. A simple nickel that most people wouldn't think twice about could actually be a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. Top 5. We are going to take a closer look at the Jefferson Nickel from the year 2016. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another common 5-cent piece that you use every day, but if you take a moment to study it carefully, you'll realize that this modern nickel carries stories of America's past and has surprising potential value in the world of collectors. So listen closely, because by the end of this video you'll understand why some examples of this coin are worth much more than their face value, and just how high that value can climb. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, when it replaced the beloved Buffalo nickel. Its long run makes it one of the most familiar coins in American pockets. Over the decades, its design has evolved, and the 2016 version is part of the modern era that began in 2006, when the mint introduced a striking forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. This portrait is bold, detailed, and seems to make eye contact with the person holding the coin, while Jefferson's famous handwritten Liberty appears elegantly across the obverse. Alongside it, you'll see the year 2016 and the mint mark identifying whether the coin was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or in San Francisco for proof versions. On the reverse, the design showcases Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, with the words E pluribus unum and United States of America wrapping around it. While the Monticello design had been used since the coin's introduction, the 2016 strike reflects refinements in detail and sharpness, especially in higher mint state or proof examples. This balance between classic imagery and modern artistry is part of what makes the 2016 Jefferson Nickel so appealing to collectors today. Now, let's talk about the real excitement, the factors that can make an ordinary-looking 2016 nickel into a rare and valuable collectible. The first and most obvious factor is condition. Like all circulating coins, most nickels get scratched, worn, or discolored. But if you find a 2016 Jefferson nickel in pristine mint state condition, especially at a high grade like MS67 or higher, the value can jump significantly. Collectors also pay close attention to what are called full steps. This refers to the steps on Monticello's front porch. If all the steps are clearly defined with no blurring or weakness, the coin is considered a full steps example, and these command strong premiums at auction because they are so difficult to find. Next are the minting errors, and this is where things really get interesting. Coins sometimes leave the mint with unexpected flaws, and instead of reducing value, these errors often multiply it many times over. For the 2016 nickel, some errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, giving the coin an unusual look. There are also double die errors, where elements of the design, such as Jefferson's portrait or the inscriptions, appear to have been stamped twice, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. Broad strike errors, in which the coin spreads wider than normal because the restraining collar malfunctioned, are another eye-catching variety. Even more dramatic are wrong planchet errors, when a nickel design is struck on a blank meant for another denomination, such as a dime. These rare accidents create coins that are instantly collectible and often unique. Proof nickels from 2016 add another layer of rarity. Struck at the San Francisco Mint with specially polished dies, proof coins have mirror-like fields and frosted devices that make them shine brilliantly. Collectors seek these not only for their beauty but also for their relative scarcity compared to the billions of circulation strikes. A flawless proof with deep cameo contrast can be breathtaking, and when combined with the right error or condition, it becomes a true gem in any collection. What makes the 2016 Jefferson Nickel particularly fascinating is its position as a modern issue that is still accessible today. Many people think only old coins from the 1800s or early 1900s can be valuable, but this nickel proves that even recent coins can hold surprises. Collectors are always on the lookout for these modern rarities, and the 2016 issue is a perfect example of how attention to detail can reward you. Whether you find one in pocket change, inherit it from a family collection, or purchase it from a coin dealer, you may be holding on to something far more valuable than just 5 cents. And now for the part you've been waiting for. While the majority of 2016 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value, there are rare examples with outstanding errors, flawless full-step strikes, or top-graded proof conditions that have shocked collectors with their value. In fact, one remarkable Jefferson nickel from this very year has reached an incredible price of $73,000. So the next time you receive a nickel in your change, take a careful look. You never know if that ordinary-looking coin might actually be a hidden treasure. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed learning about the Jefferson Nickel of 2016, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss future stories of rare and valuable coins. Until next time, keep your eyes open and happy collecting.